let's talk about memory. It's the foundation of who you are, right? But what if the very way we think about it, like it's a library of experiences stored inside our heads, is just fundamentally wrong? Today, we're going to explore a wild theory that suggests your memories aren't actually where you think they are. So let me ask you a question, a really simple one. You remember your first crush, your favorite song, what you ate this morning? But where is all that information actually kept? I know, the immediate answer is in my brain, of course. But what if that's only a tiny part of the picture?
Because the theory we're digging into today really challenges what mainstream neuroscience tells us. It suggests that the traditional model, the brain as a biological filing cabinet, is completely off. The reality? Well, it could be way stranger and honestly, so much more incredible.
And that brings us right to the core of this idea. We have to challenge the hard drive myth. We're all taught to think of our brain as this self-contained storage unit, but we need to totally reframe that. What if the brain isn't the hard drive at all? What if it's just the terminal? This theory proposes that your brain doesn't actually store that huge archive of your life's memories. No, instead, it acts more like a really sophisticated transceiver, a terminal that's built to access information from an outside source. Think of it like your computer connecting to the internet. So, okay, if the brain isn't the main storage locker, then how does any of this work? Well, the theory breaks our memory down into two totally separate but cooperative systems. First up, you've got what this theory calls operational memory. The easiest way to think about it is like your computer's RAM. It holds all the short-term active info you need to just function right now. How to tie your shoes, your boss's name, the grocery list. This type of memory actually is physically located in your brain, coded in the connections between your neurons.
And then there's the second system, external memory. Now this is the cosmic cloud. The theory says this is a nearly infinite storage drive of every single thing you've ever known, and it is not inside your head. Instead, it exists out there in this huge non-physical place called informational planes.
So looking at them side by side really makes it crystal clear, doesn't it? You've got your operational memory, that's the RAM, it's in your brain, it's limited, and it's for what you're doing right now. And on the other side, you've got external memory, that's the cloud. It's out there in the info field, it's basically infinite, and it's your permanent archive. The big takeaway here is that your brain is just managing the immediate tasks. It's not trying to hold the entire library of your life. Okay, so if most of our memories are just floating out there somewhere, how in the world do we remember anything? It's not magic, believe it or not. It's actually a process, kind of like data retrieval. It's this really dynamic four-step flow. First, your consciousness realizes it needs a piece of information. Let's say the feeling of your first kiss. Second, it sends out a ping to the external info field to find that data. Third, the relevant info gets downloaded right into your operational memory, your brain's RAM, so you can experience it. And fourth, and this is key, when you're done with it, that data is archived back to the cloud, which makes room for the next thing you need to think about. This model perfectly explains why some memories are super sharp and others are fuzzy. The memory itself isn't fading, it's the quality of your connection that matters. A strong, clear connection means you get fast, high-def recall, but a weak or spotty one, well, that leads to that super frustrating, it's on the tip of my tongue feeling. And what's really cool is this model doesn't just explain how we remember, it also gives us a totally new way to think about why we forget and how some people pull off those incredible feats of memory. So, why do you forget where you put your keys? It's not because the memory was erased from your brain. Nope. It's just that the connection, the path to that one little piece of data in the cloud is weak, or maybe you just haven't used it in a while. You've basically got a poor signal at that moment. And this, right here, is the big aha moment. People with so-called photographic memories, they don't have bigger or better brains. They just have, probably without even realizing it, an incredibly strong and fast connection to the info field. They're not storing more data. They're just downloading it way, way faster. This is where the theory takes a really, truly mind-bending turn. I mean, if all your memories are stored in some kind of universal cloud, are you firewalled off, allowed to access only your own files? The theory proposes a pretty startling answer to that question. No, not at all. This cosmic cloud isn't just your personal storage drive. It's more like a universal server containing pretty much all information that exists. So here's the ultimate implication of all this. The info field is like a universal library. In this model, information from past lives is never deleted, it's just archived, which means with the right skills, with the ability to navigate these informational planes, a person could theoretically access not only their own past life memories, but any information whatsoever. You could retrieve knowledge you've never learned or experience things that never even happened to you in this life. It really all comes down to this one idea. Our potential for knowledge isn't limited by the 3 pounds of gray matter in our skulls. The only real limitation we have is our ability to build a stronger, better connection to this gigantic external field of information. And that leaves us with a final, pretty powerful thought to chew on. If your mind really is a terminal with potential access to a universal archive of all knowledge and all experience, what's the first thing you would look up? What forgotten memory? What lost piece of history? Or what universal truth would you go searching for? The possibilities are, quite literally, infinite.